Okay, today's lesson 8.1, and we're on week 8. Lesson 1 is working with independent and dependent events. So you're going to have to identify which ones are independent and which ones are dependent to be able to figure out the probability. So we are going to do a couple of these together. So the first one, the two spinners on the right are spun. Find each probability. So if I'm spinning spinner 1, then I spin spinner 2, these are independent events, so this section here is independent. Okay, so all of the questions 1 through 6 are going to be independent. So on the first spinner, there are 8 sections, so it's out of 8. The second one, there are 6 sections, so it's out of 6. So that's helpful for this whole section for the first part. So number 1, the probability of picking or spinning a 4 and a C. So looking at the first spinner, to spin a 4 would be 1 section out of 8. So the probability is 1/8. And the probability of picking a C or spinning a C is 1 out of 6. So to find that probability, we're just going to multiply across. So 1 times 1 is 1, 8 times 6 is 48, and that is your answer. So that one's not too difficult. Let's look at number 3. The probability of spinning an even number and then spinning a C. So out of the even numbers, we have 2, 4, 6, and 8. That's 4 out of 8. So you can go ahead and reduce that down. It's the same thing as 1/2. And then the probability of spinning a C is still 1 out of 6. So we're going to multiply across. Now multiply your simplified fraction. So 1/2 times 1/6 is going to give us 1/12. And that's going to be your answer. Okay, so all of the numbers, the rest of those in the first section are going to be done the same with those two spinners. In the second section, it says there are 10 yellow, 6 green, 9 orange, and 5 red cards in a stack of cards turned face down, once a card is selected, it is not replaced. So since it is not replaced, this whole section right here is going to be dependent. Okay, so that's going to change how we do these problems. How many cards total do we have? We have 10 plus 6 plus 9 plus 5. So 10 plus 6 is 16, plus 9 is 25, plus 5 is 30. So we have 30 cards in the stack. So that's important too. So the probability of pulling 2 yellow cards. So yellow right here is 10. So we have 10 out of a total of 30 cards. And then we're going to pick another yellow. Now, if we've already picked one yellow, we're left with 9 choices, and now it's only out of 29 cards. So when we simplify this, our second probability of picking a second yellow card is 9/29. Now we're going to go ahead and simplify and multiply. So when you're doing your simplification, you can use your calculator and multiply. 10 times 9 is 90, and then 30 times 29 is whatever that is. Or you can go ahead and simplify. I like to simplify. So I know that 9 and 30, I can simplify by 3. So 3 goes into 9 3 times, 3 goes into 30 10 times. And now I'm left with 10 over 10 times 3 over 29. Well, 10 over 10 is just equal to 1 over 1. So now 1 times 3 is 3. And 1 times 29 is 29. So my final answer is 3/29. Okay, that makes it a lot easier to multiply when I simplify first. Let's go ahead and look at number 9. So number 9, I'm going to do the probability of a yellow card, then a green card. So the probability of a yellow card is still 10 out of 30. I could simplify that down right now instead of waiting till the end if I want, or you can go ahead and write your next one, and then it's going to be a green card. So I'm a green card, there are 6 green. This time it's out of 29 because I already pulled one yellow card. And then if you haven't already reduced this, now you can reduce it this way as well. So if I reduce this first one, it would just be 1/3. And then I can reduce my 3 and my 6. So 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 2 times. So my answer, 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 29 is 29. And that would be my final answer. Okay. Let's do one more of these because it's a little bit different than the others. So we have number 11, the probability of 2 cards that are not orange. Okay, so if they're not orange, they could be yellow, green, or red. So yellow, green, and red would give me, let's see, how many? 21 cards. So 21 out of 30. Okay, so you could subtract the orange from 30 to get 21, or you can add up the others, either way. And then another one that's not orange. Okay, well, we already picked one that was not orange, so now instead of 21, it's going to be 20 out of 29. Okay, so to find the probability, again, we're going to multiply these across. You can go ahead and reduce down. So I know that 10 goes into 20 2 times and 10 goes into 33 times. And then the 21 and 3 can be reduced. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 21 7 times. So 7 times 2 gives me 14. 1 times 29 gives me 29. So my answer is 14 over 29. All right. So from there, did I do that right? Yeah, I did that right. I was checking my work. I had it written different on my paper. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at number 13. Okay, so number 13, we're not going to work it out, but I want to identify if it's dependent or independent. So number 13, office supplies. A store sells a box of highlighters that contain 4 yellow, 3 blue, 2 pink, and 1 green. What's the probability of randomly first picking a blue and then a pink? So since you're pulling a blue out and then pulling a pink, you're not putting it back in there. So it would be a dependent event. Okay, so this one here is also going to be dependent. So keep that in mind when you're figuring out number 13. Number 14, let's do together. Angelina makes 70% of her free throws. What's the probability that she will make her next 2 free throws? So we have something new here. We have a percent. Now, with that percent, we're going to use that to write a probability. Now, first off, if she's making 2 free throws, is the second free throw dependent on whether she makes the first one? No, it's not. So this is an independent event. So we're not going to have to change our bottom part of our fraction when we write this. So if she makes 70% of her free throws, the probability that she makes 2 free throws is going to be 70 out of 100 and 70 out of 100 for the second one. So they're the exact same. And then we're going to multiply across to get our answer. Now for this one, we can go ahead and simplify again. So 10 goes into 77 times, 10 goes into 110 times. We're just crossing off those extra zeros. So now we have 7 times 7 gives us 49, and 10 times 10 is 100. So that's our answer. The probability that she makes 2 free throws is 49 chances out of 100. Looking at number 15, there's 2 parts, A and B, and it has to do with this chart over on the side. So it's all in percent. So it's going to be done very similarly to the one that we did in number 14. So using percents, changing it to fractions. So it says, use the following information on the table. At a car rental office, 63% of the customers are men and 37% are women. Okay, so it's giving us that information. So remember 63 as a probability is 63 out of 100, and then 37 as a probability is 37 out of 100. Okay, so A asks, what's the probability that the next customer will be a woman who requests a convertible? So we have the probability of a woman and a convertible. Okay, so the probability that it is a woman is going to be 37 out of 100. And if it's someone who requests a convertible, okay, double checking that these all add up to 100%, and they do. Okay, they add up to 100%. If you request a convertible, it is 10%, so 10 out of 100. Okay, this is an independent also, so we're going to multiply across. You can simplify these first, and you end up with 37 over 10,000. Oops, nope, 1,000. Sorry, 1,000. Should be 1,000. Move your decimal place over. So 37 out of 1,000 people will go ahead and, if you're a woman, request a convertible. Let me change that there. Okay. So B has done the same thing, same way. What is the probability that the next customer will be a man who requests either a compact car or a luxury car? So you're finding the probability of a man and a compact or luxury car. Okay, so you're going to have to add your compact car and your luxury car together for that one. So I'm going to let you finish that last question on your own using the information provided.